Prime Minister Modi will leave for Japan for the Quad Summit today. Talks with Biden, Kishida and Australian Prime Minister lined up. Poulomi Saha has spoken to the Ambassador of India to Japan, SK Verma. Here is an exclusive by my colleague Poulomi Saha.
Joining me right now is Indian Ambassador to Japan, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Verma. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to India today. So first of all, what is expected in the Prime Minister's itinerary of the 2 days that he's spending in Japan? There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of anticipation over this visit, which is extremely significant because of the Quad Summit, but also because of the bilaterals that he'll be having with all the other three leaders as well on the sidelines of the Quad.
Absolutely. We are very excited, to say the least. There are various elements in the program. The Quad is the core element of the entire visit. So there will be Quad related events with Quad. There will be bilaterals with other three leaders. The US President, the newly elected Australian Prime Minister and of course the Japanese Prime Minister. So these three will take place separately. Then there will be some economic dialogue going on with the economic players, the private sector. And Prime Minister will be meeting many of them in two different formats. One will be on one-on-one and the second format will be as a round table with prominent business leaders of Japan. Of course he's very, very popular amongst the Indian community here. So how can the Indian community let him go without interacting with him?
Right.
So we will have a largish Indian community interaction event, slightly restricted by the COVID-19 restrictions in Japan, but nevertheless we hope that the Indian community will be able to listen to our Prime Minister and see where their ambitions should go, where they should be directed.
So considering you've mentioned this interaction about with business leaders and also about the economic aspects as well. Now we do know that when Prime Minister Kishida did visit India, there was a commitment of 5 trillion yen over the next 5 years, which was made in public and private enterprises. Is there expected to be any further enhancement as far as the economic cooperation between the two countries are concerned?
Palmiji, if you look at it, it is just 2 months since that particular commitment was made,
sure,
or the ambition was set. So no, we are still working on that. Okay. So groundwork is being prepared. At the moment, the two leaders will decide what they want. But at the moment, much work needed to get into getting this 5 trillion yen invested from Japan, whether it's private sector funding, public sector funding or financing. So we have to wait for some more time to see how do they fructify. But outside this as well, there will be some new economic linkages set up,
okay,
and that is what would be silver lining or the sort of a lining on the pie.
Okay. Can we expect something new? What are you referring to? If I could ask you to spill the beans a little bit.
No beans, in fact. So basically, at the moment, in the bilateral, like any other bilateral, the sidelines of multilateral or plurilateral meeting, largely it is the review of the relationship.
Right.
So review of the relationship will be done. Some new directives to all the stakeholders will be given who will take it forward. When I was mentioning that, basically, since the 5 trillion yen is an ambition level by both the leaders, so what I merely mentioned was that we may even go beyond 5 trillion yen.
Okay.
And that will be the silver lining or the sugar on the pie.
Okay, all right. My final question, sir, because the Quad Summit is, of course, the crux of this visit, which is why the four leaders will be in Tokyo on the 24th of May. We do know the broad outline of the Quad. We do know that this is going to be the second in-person meeting, conference that all of the leaders will be attending. What could possibly be the big takeaways, sir, from this meeting of the four leaders?
Quad is a very positive agenda and is a very constructive agenda. So therefore, whatever ills our Indo-Pacific region, whether it is in the way of stability, peace, prosperity, following international law, freedom of navigation, free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. So all these issues would be deliberated by the four leaders, and I'm sure they will be able to give directions for the future where we should lead to. But the tagline, the bottom line is that the region needs to be stable, secure, prosperous, and according to the international.
Quickly, China's growing belligerence. Ukraine to feature again these two topics?
Well, what the leaders will discuss, it will be extremely difficult for me to predict. They are leaders, they are global leaders. So I'll wait to hear the outcome after they have discussed all these issues.
Okay, so you're going to stay very tight-lipped about that, but this is going to be an extremely crucial Quad Summit, given that it is the second in-person conference that the four leaders of the Quad will be attending. With Shweta Singh, Poulomi, Saha in Tokyo for India Today.